We were playing Truth or Dare and I lost. The dare was to post a relationship announcement on my social media, and I couldn't reply to anyone for 10 minutes. Everyone was hyping it up, waiting to watch me crash and burn. After all, the whole campus knew I was the untouchable ice queen, off limits to everyone, and made that crystal clear. Someone tried to talk me out of it. Xuqing, just take the drink and bail. It's not worth it. If Liu Ruyan sees you post something like that, this whole night is over for all of us. But the alcohol had gone to my head, and every bit of rebellion I had been bottling up finally burst out. So what? I'm single. I can post whatever I want. I grabbed the girl next to me, snapped a blurry photo together and captioned it. Finally off the market. Hope everyone looks out for us. And hit post. In that moment, I felt like a free spirit breaking every chain. But barely 3 minutes later, Liu Ruyan's message came through. Just now. The KTV private room was a blur of lights and noise. The music was loud enough to rattle my chest. After posting that, I flipped my phone face down on the table and picked up my drink like nothing happened, bro. You're an absolute legend, my ride or die said. Fatty leaned over with a look of pure admiration, while also slowly inching his head toward the door. But I swear I can already feel the murderous energy bleeding through the screen. Relax, I kept my cool face on and took a sip of my beer. It's not like we're together. Why would I need to report to her when I start dating someone Liu Ruyan? The eldest daughter of the Liu family, undisputed queen of our entire school. Insanely beautiful, filthy rich, and for some inexplicable reason completely fixated on me, a nobody. Or more accurately, relentlessly impossible to shake off half a month ago. I finally hit my limit with her all-encompassing invasive pursuit and told her straight up to stop contacting me. She just raised an eyebrow and said fine. She'd give me a break. That break had barely lasted 2 weeks and here I was already self-destructing. Hey bro! The girl who took the photo with you timidly tugged at my sleeve. My phone keeps buzzing. A bunch of random numbers are trying to add me. I'm kind of scared, my stomach dropped. I grabbed my phone and looked. My feed had already exploded. But what caught my eye most was the red exclamation mark. Just now. I had tried to reply to Liu Ruyan's question mark, but the message said delivered, except rejected by the recipient. She blocked me. I stared at the screen for a second, and then felt a weird wave of relief wash over me. Blocked! Okay, great, blocked. Does that mean she's finally letting go? Does that mean I'm finally free? Come on, let's keep drinking. I was on top of the world. I chucked my phone back in my pocket, but happiness never lasts half an hour later. The door to the private room got shoved open and the whole rowdy space went dead quiet. Library, quiet. Standing in the doorway were not servers, but two built guys in black suits. And then a tall, slender silhouette clicked in on heels, sharp, precise, and completely unhurried. Liu Ruyan was wearing a fitted black dress hair down over her shoulders, with that half-smile expression on her face, breathtakingly beautiful, and cold enough to make you shiver. She swept the room with her eyes, and zeroed in on me hiding in the corner with perfect precision, having fun. Her voice wasn't loud, but in the dead silence of that room it hit like a gunshot. Fatty, the absolute traitor, shuffled sideways and fully exposed me and that poor girl. I stood up and put on a brave front. What are you doing here? This is a private party. Liu Ruyan completely ignored me. She walked straight over to the girl from the photo and bent down slightly, with a tone so sweet it gave you goosebumps. Hey, cute photo you took earlier, but borrowing someone else's boyfriend does come with a rental fee. The girl went pale. I'm so sorry, it was just a dare. We have nothing going on. I swear. She bolted like a startled rabbit the second she finished. Liu Ruyan straightened up and turned to look at me. The coldness in her eyes melted into something amused. A dare, huh? She stepped closer with each word, her perfume wrapping around me. Xuqing, since you love a little thrill so much, come with me. Let's go somewhere more interesting, late-night streets. A black Maybach cut through the dark. I sat in the passenger seat, like someone who had just been kidnapped, both hands clamped white-knuckled around the seatbelt. The tension in the car was suffocating. Where are you taking me? I finally broke the silence. Liu Ruyan steered with one hand. Profile so sharp and perfect it looked edited. She kept her eyes on the road, and said flatly, back to your place. To help you move. I live perfectly fine where I am. What do you mean move? It's not safe. Liu Ruyan caught a red light and glanced over at me with the faintest smirk. 2 weeks without me keeping an eye on you and you're already posting thirst traps. Clearly campus curfew means absolutely nothing to you. I let out a disbelieving laugh. Liu Ruyan, can you be reasonable for 5 seconds? I'm an adult. I live where I want to live. I take photos with whoever I want to take photos with. She gave a quiet laugh, and suddenly reached over and grabbed my phone. Hey, what are you doing? The passcode was still the same one she hated. She unlocked it without missing a beat and completely ignored my protests. I watched helplessly as she opened my messages, pulled up that post, and deleted it without hesitation. Then she opened the camera roll. It was a photo she had forced me to take with her in the car just a few minutes ago. In it, she was smiling, radiant, and completely in control. One arm casually hooked around my neck while I looked like I had given up on life entirely. Caption typed, done playing, coming home now. After posting it, she calmly removed herself from my blocked list and pinned her contact to the top. This is a total invasion of privacy, I snapped at her. She tossed the phone back at me. The light turned green. She hit the gas and the force of it pushed me back into the seat and swallowed the rest of what I was going to say. Xuqing, your mouth is honestly the most interesting thing about you. She said it casually while driving half a month apart. You thought I was throwing a tantrum. I was giving you time to reflect. And this is what you do with it. Get a new girlfriend. It was just a game. Games don't count either. She cut me off without blinking. Your social media belongs to me and only me. The car didn't go back to campus. It didn't go to the Liu family estate that gave me PTSD either. Instead, it stopped in front of a high-end apartment building I had never seen before. Get out. I'm not getting out. I want to go back to school. Liu Ruyan unclipped her seatbelt and leaned across toward me. The car was tight, and her scent, clean and faintly cool, hit me immediately. Her face was just a few inches from mine. Those gorgeous eyes locked right onto me. Xuqing, you can either walk up on your own, or I'll have my security carry you up, or... Her gaze drifted downward slowly, landing on my lips. You can make up for the last 2 weeks right here before we go up. I felt my skin crawl. I instinctively covered my mouth and pressed myself flat against the car door. Fine, I'll walk. I'm walking on my own. A smart person knows when to pick their battles, and I had seen exactly how shameless this woman could get. The apartment was a penthouse, a sprawling open-plan floor with minimalist luxury design. But I wasn't in the mood to admire it because I had just noticed that my stuff was everywhere. There were 2 toothbrushes. The slippers were my size. The closet was full of clothes from the exact brand I always wore. You planned this from the beginning. I stared at her in disbelief. Liu Ruyan slipped off her heels and stepped into a pair of fluffy slippers. The sharp, intimidating energy softened instantly. She looked almost languid. I call it being prepared. She walked over to the bar cart, poured 2 glasses of water and held one out to me. I was planning to bring you here a little later, but you had to go and cause a scene tonight. I didn't take the water. I watched her carefully. Liu Ruyan, we're not a good match. You're from a completely different world. I'm just a regular student. Here we go again. Liu Ruyan cut me off with 0 patience and put the glass down hard on the counter. Shu Qing, do you think I have unlimited patience, by the way? That girl who took the photo with you. Lin Xiaoya, right. She randomly brought up the innocent girl, and I tensed up immediately. What are you going to do? She has nothing to do with this. I pulled her into it. Liu Ruyan watched me go rigid, and a flash of annoyance crossed her eyes. She said coldly, "So protective of her, huh? Fine, I was just going to give her a little warning. But since you care so much, maybe I'll make it a little more memorable." Don't you dare, I lost it. Someone like Liu Ruyan could destroy an ordinary student without breaking a sweat. That's my business. She turned and headed toward the bedroom. I'm going to shower. You'd better still be here when I come out if I walk out and you're gone. She paused and turned back, giving me a look loaded with meaning. Lin Xiaoya's internship offer gets pulled, and your buddy Fatty's gaming account gets banned for 10 years. I stood there pointing at her back, my finger shaking. Unbelievable. This is textbook billionaire villain behavior. But my feet had gone completely numb. I couldn't move a single step because I knew she would absolutely do it. 20 minutes later, the bathroom door opened. Liu Ruyan walked out in an oversized button-down shirt, hair still damp. The hem of the shirt barely covered her thighs, showing off a pair of impossibly long legs. That shirt looked exactly like one of mine. She walked toward me, toweling her hair, carrying the fresh, clean scent of her shower. Still here. Good. She gave a satisfied nod and sat directly down onto my lap, both arms looping naturally around my neck, my whole body locked up. I sat there stiff as a board, too scared to breathe. Can you at least dry your hair first? I'll do it. She shoved the towel into my hand and commanded it like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Liu Ruyan, am I your boyfriend right now? You don't just get to boss me around like we haven't even made up yet. Haven't made up yet, huh? She blinked, and suddenly leaned in close, warm breath brushing against my ear. So what exactly do you call what's happening right now? I was completely speechless. Shu Qing, her voice dropped suddenly, carrying a trace of something almost vulnerable. It's been 2 weeks. Did you really not miss me at all? I looked down and met those wide, glassy eyes of hers. Every bit of that untouchable queen energy from the KTV was completely gone. Right now, she looked like a cat asking to be held, and something cracked open in my chest. This was the most dangerous thing about Liu Ruyan. She could flip between ice and warmth so fast you never had a chance to defend yourself. Nope. Didn't miss you at all, I said through gritted teeth, but my eyes slid away on their own. Liar, she gave a quiet scoff, and bit down on my neck without warning. Ow. Are you seriously a human being or an animal? I hissed in pain and tried to push her off, but she held on tighter. That's for saying the opposite of what you mean. She pressed her face against the curve of my neck, voice low and muffled. Where was all that bold energy when you posted that tonight? Next time you pull a stunt like that, the neck won't be what I go for. I let out a long sigh and picked up the hairdryer in defeat. This isn't a relationship. This is being someone's personal servant. But then I caught our reflection in the mirror, her curled up against me like that, and my mouth curved up before I could stop it. Oh no, I think I'm actually falling for her. The first light of morning hadn't even made it through the curtains yet, when I got choked awake by a thick burning smell. Not the good kind of burning, not toast. This was the kind of smell that meant plastic and protein were meeting a violent end together in an open flame. I shot upright, fully awake in an instant. Something's on fire. I didn't stop to put on shoes. I ran out barefoot. The open kitchen was completely smoked out, the range hood screaming in agony. And in the middle of all that chaos, Liu Ruyan was standing there in a silk spaghetti strap pajama set that had no business being that flattering. Spatula raised like a weapon, squaring off against the frying pan like it had personally wronged her. The madam who ran boardrooms and shut down deals in an instant currently had her hair bundled up in a chaotic mess, a mysterious streak of soot across her face, looking both ridiculous and somehow kind of adorable. Stay back, she heard footsteps, and yelled without turning around, voice clearly frantic underneath the surface. 5 more minutes. No, wait. 10. Breakfast is almost ready. I leaned against the doorframe, staring at the unidentifiable black mass in the pan, and couldn't hold back. Liu Ruyan, are you trying to poison me so you can inherit my credit card debt? Shut up, Liu Ruyan bristled. She jabbed the pan hard with the spatula. This is my first time ever cooking. If you don't like it, just try and say so. I watched her about to dump more oil into the already smoking pan, and sighed as I stepped in any other time. I probably would have already been on my knees begging her to spare the kitchen and spare me, but after last night I felt like I had finally cracked the code on her. This woman ran on a spring-loaded system. Push back and she eases up. Fold and she steamrolls right over you. I walked up behind her, didn't say a word and just reached around her, slipping past her waist and closing my hand over hers on the spatula. Liu Ruyan's whole body went rigid like someone had hit pause on her. Her back pressed flat against my chest. I could feel her spine tighten against me. The heat's way too high. I tilted my head and let my chin graze just past her ear, voice still rough from sleep. Fried eggs need low heat. Oil can't be too hot. Liu Ruyan's breathing fell apart. The hand that had just been swinging a spatula around like a weapon melted completely in my palm. Even trembling a little, I turned my head and caught sight of her earlobe, flushing deep red at a speed visible to the naked eye, practically glowing. What are you doing? She stuttered. All that usual confidence completely extinguished. Let go. Let go right now. or this kitchen is actually going to blow. I ignored her protests. I covered her hand and guided her to turn off the burner, tipped the charcoal remains into the trash, then started fresh. New pan oil egg, flip a little salt. Smooth and easy the whole time. I stayed exactly where I was, arms around her from behind, her pinned between the counter and me. The only thing within reach of her nose was probably me, until 2 perfect sunny-side-up eggs slid off the pan. I finally stepped back, picked up the plate, and headed to the table. All right, come eat. Liu Ruyan stood there frozen for a solid few seconds, then came back to herself, frantically smoothed out her pajamas, wiped her face with her hand, and shuffled over to the table like she was walking through wet concrete. She kept her head down, clearly not ready to look at me, and picked up her fork to stab the egg. Hold on, I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed, watching her with a half smile. Liu Ruyan's fork paused midair. She forced herself to look up, reaching for any scrap of that queen energy she had left. What? Didn't I make that? You should be grateful. I'm not judging your cooking. Who said it was for you? I pointed at the golden eggs on the plate, and said with full confidence, this is the love breakfast that Liu Ruyan personally helped create. You can't just eat it yourself, that's not fair. Liu Ruyan's eyes went wide. Shooting, have you no shame? It was you who made it. I don't care. I cut her off, opened my mouth slightly. Like someone waiting to be fed. My arms are too tired to lift. Since it's the lady's personal creation, it only hits right if she feeds it to me herself. 3 full seconds of silence. Liu Ruyan stared at me like I had just beamed in from another planet. In her entire life, everyone had always been the one catering to her. Nobody had ever had the nerve to sit there and demand she wait on them. Xu Qing, don't push it, she said through clenched teeth, her fork creaking under her grip. Fine. Then I'm not eating. I shrugged like I couldn't care less. Going to class on an empty stomach is whatever. I might just pass out from low blood sugar, though. At that, she opened her mouth to speak. Liu Ruyan snapped and cut me off. She stabbed a small piece of egg white and practically shoved it into my mouth. Fine, choke on it. I chewed the perfectly room temperature egg and watched her face flushed with irritation and embarrassment, and felt lighter than I had in a long time. Just moments ago, that untouchable, too good for everyone heiress had been nowhere to be found. In her place was a girl who blushed and snapped and pouted, but still ended up doing exactly as she was told. This was winning. Breakfast wrapped up in that gloriously awkward back and forth way. I was full and satisfied. I pulled out a napkin, wiped my mouth, and stood up. I'm heading back to campus. I've got required classes this morning. Liu Ruyan, who had still been floating in that weird charged atmosphere between us, heard that and her expression went flat immediately. That suffocating pressure was back in an instant. You're not going. She put her fork down on the table with a sharp clatter, voice hard and cold. Since you've already moved in, stay put for the next few days. I'll have someone handle your absences at school. That same commanding tone again, but this time I didn't argue back like last night. Instead, I walked around the table and stopped right in front of her. Liu Ruyan tilted her chin up, eyes sharp. What are you doing? I'm warning you. This is basically my front door and there are guards everywhere. Don't even think about it. I bent down slowly and raised one finger and pressed it gently against her lips. Those soft, restless lips that never seemed to stop. The warmth of them sent a faint buzz through my fingertip. Everything she was about to say got stuck in her throat. Her pupils contracted. Her whole body froze again. Shh. I leaned in close, held her gaze steady in those beautiful eyes, and lowered my voice. Ruyan, keeping someone locked up all the time gets old real fast. I have a life. And you don't want your boyfriend to be the kind of guy who just hides behind your skirt all day, do you? She opened her mouth to fire back, but something in my eyes stopped her cold. I smiled and pulled my finger away, then gave the top of her head a light ruffle. The same way you'd settle down a very offended cat. Be good, I'll come home tonight and let you hold me again.